So scams awareness, we'll cover that today, and I'm also going to start just by going over a wee bit about what we can help with at the Bureau down in Gosby. So my name's Rachel and I'm the Bureau Manager down there. And I've got, today I'm going to be just a little bit about our service. Could you change the slide? A little bit about our service. Some information about things that are happening because of scams, the different types of scams that there can be, and tips for avoiding scams as well. So first of all, our team down in Gosby, we've got James Sutherland, who's one of our specialist advisors. And if you come to us looking for things like attendance allowance or pension credit or that sort of thing, it would be James that you would see. Then our next specialist advisor is Peter. Peter covers our debt and money. And as I'm sure you can imagine, the bills are mounting up for everyone just now, so it's quite a worry for folk, and we've got Peter to help people out with that. Then we've got Louise. Louise is working. Originally, Louise had joined us for the COVID recovery, looking at the costs that people have incurred as a result of COVID, but she's now looking at the cost of living crisis. So we're moving from one crisis to another. And she is looking at a general, covers everything pretty much, but if it's to do with COVID or if it's as a result of the cost of living crisis, and that's what she focuses on. Then we've got Katie. Katie runs a clinic on a Friday morning at the Bureau, and that's just a drop-in service. So what we've found is throughout lockdowns, we've been unable to have the drop-in service because of not having the face-to-face. So this is our first clinic that we've reopened, that we can provide face-to-face service for anyone that turns up at the Bureau. And the next thing we're going to be looking at is restarting our outreaches. So we'll be looking at the areas and the need in the different areas to see when we restart the outreach. Then we've got Melissa. And Melissa is again a generalist advisor, but she focuses on energy related issues. And as you can imagine, with the cost of living, with energy prices going up, with fuel prices going up, her services are very much in demand at the moment. And then we've got Amber, who's just joined us very recently. And Amber has again been doing generalist advisor work, and she's also been doing a lot of housing related queries. What we've seen is the amount of housing queries are now increasing because the protections which we put in place for tenants during COVID are no longer in place. So in terms of our advice, we say that we've got a no wrong door policy, and we do from A to Z, or from antisocial behaviour to 0 hours contracts. So we covered everything, and if we can't help you with it, then we will be able to source information and support for you from other agencies in the area. So, I'm relying on you to talk to friends and family to make sure everyone knows about the Bureau. So scams awareness. There's no such thing as a typical victim of a scam. Anyone can be targeted, and scammers rely on people not telling anyone about the scams, and embarrassed or being frightened to tell anyone. So they're much more common than you think, and anyone can be called out. And you can think of a scam as a fraud, a hoax, a con, swindle, or someone cheating. But it's a way of getting money or valuable information from you. In the UK, there is a huge amount of loss as a result of scams, successful scams. So it's 5 billion a year, and that's directly for people directly affected by scams. But the cost to consumers is 75 billion. So it's absolutely huge, and it's happening all the time. So it's quite scary. Thing that I'd said there about being embarrassed or being, you know, shamed or not wanting to speak up about having a scam against you is people don't report it. So only about 5% of the scams that people experience are ever reported. And if you're not reporting it, then it allows the scammers to do the same scam to someone else. So it's always important to be reporting it to people. And I've got details about how you report it. The impact of a scam on someone is much greater than the financial loss. If you think about it, if it's someone and you know with being the target of a scam, you can start feeling, you can lose your confidence, you can think, oh, why is this so silly? But you have to just not think that at all, because anyone can be the target. The more people that know about a scam, the harder it is for scammers to be successful, and scams are becoming more frequent and more complex. So some of the ones we're going to go into, you'll see just how you hardly know that it's a scam, and it can be very difficult. So being caught out by a scam is nothing to be embarrassed or ashamed about. It's definitely a big message. And talking about it to friends and family and people here as well, you know, talking about scams that people have experienced does help with the situation. So if you think about the different types of scams, so any way that someone can contact you, there's a scam associated with it. So we've got online email scams, text messaging phone scams, postal scams, doorstep scams. So any way that someone can contact you, scammers have already got a way of getting money from you and swindling you. So with online scams, it's interactions online, in transactions or purchases using your bank card online to buy any items, fake websites, online shops with deals that are too good to be true, entering information in competitions, that sort of thing. Facebook. So Facebook, unfortunately, it's a great resource for a lot of things, but it is a scammer's paradise, and we'll go into that in more detail. Email scams, so phishing scams, which is emails pretending to be from the bank or utilities company. And there's usually a link that you have to go in to get, and as soon as you press that link, exactly, yes. That it allows them to get access to your information. I said about Facebook. So some of the common scams on Facebook. The phishing scam is a scammer pretending to be from an organisation or a company that they're not from. It's quite easy for them to make themselves look as realistic as possible. Unfortunately, romance scams. So this is something that we're seeing locally, and I just think it's so cruel.
Is it local? Yeah. Oh my conscience.
Yeah, it's so cruel. So you have people set up fake Facebook profiles, and they contact people, and then they build a relationship with them, and it can be a long play. So it can be months and months, and then they ask for money. And you feel you know this person, you feel that they're your friend, or that you've got a romantic link with them, and then they'll ask for your information, ask for money from you. And we are seeing that on the rise. And it's something that you're seeing as well.
And of course, with lockdown too, and people not using that.
Exactly. Yeah. As I said, you can get ones that are talking about you winning scams. Winning scams. You won some competitions. One of the ones, which again is a difficult one, is the job adverts on Facebook, and the job is not real at all. It's just you inputting information. So that it's all the information that you would put in for a job application. They've got that available to them. Quiz scams. So see a lot of the Facebook quizzes, and they're trying to gather information from you in a roundabout way, and build a picture of you as a person, and then they can use that information then to get access to your finances. As we said, suspicious links, so no hitting on any links. So what I would say with Facebook is, if you get a message from a Facebook friend and it seems odd, or it's not the way that we usually talk, don't click on any links and don't provide them with any personal information. What I would say as well is limit the information you share on Facebook forums. So for us, if we've got the Springer Spaniel forum on Facebook, don't share any information on there that's personal to you.
I don't,
Yeah.
I get lost.
The other thing as well is don't share holiday plans or holiday photos until you're home as well. That's what we suggest. So I think this is one that everyone will have heard of, HMRC scams. They're actually now so common that the Bureau are advising that you treat any communication from HMRC with suspicion. Think of it initially as a scam and then work to it being genuine. The government has provided guidance on spotting a scam, which Sarah, I can pass on to you. And it's about any contact that comes from HMRC.
Is that on text or something? Or
This is HMRC text messages, emails, phone calls, letters. Unfortunately, HMRC is being targeted really quite aggressively by scammers. So if you see something coming through from HMRC in any method, consider it suspiciously until you are sure it's genuine. And if you're not sure it's genuine, speak to us at the Bureau and we can look into it for you. Yeah. So this is one as well. This is another local one. So I've changed the names, obviously. It's my name. So hi Granny, it's Rachel. I'm using my friend's phone and I'm down in Inverness. I've lost my purse and my phone and I've got no money to get the bus. Please don't tell Mum. Can you transfer money to my friend's bank so I have enough to get home? And then the bank details. And then, hello, I tried calling but I couldn't get through to you. Sorry Granny, I've got no battery left so I can't speak to you. Have you transferred the money? Please don't tell Mum. I've sent it now.
That's a wicked one in school.
So if you see that coming through, that's, and again, this is one that we've seen locally. And Inverness, I've not changed Inverness. This is someone using Inverness and named it. They said, I'm in Inverness, I'm down in Inverness. So
Yes,
so you knew that they were north of Inverness.
Yes.
So what they've tried to do here is they've tried to rush you by creating urgency,
Yes.
and they've tried to hush you by saying, don't tell Mum. Don't tell Mum. So that's another example of one that we've seen.
That's wicked.
It is, yeah.
So that means somebody that knew the person.
It could be someone that,
You know, if it's like obviously it is a granny, or you know, say, you know, if that went to you, then you'd be like,
And
So-
it's because they've got the name.
if you think, what they would need is all they would need to be able to do that is your phone number, your postcode, and your date of birth.
right, so
Because that's like,
So they're sending that out, they don't know if it's Granny or
Right,
here,
right.
but if it gets to the right person,
yeah.
and you are Granny,
Mhm.
you know. So this is one that it comes a lot from social media. So if they find some details of you, then you can see who your connections are on Facebook.
Everything's on Facebook, isn't it?
Exactly.
Date of birth,
Oh.
phone number,
well,
pictures of your grandkids.
Exactly, your grandkids' names.
Yeah. So yes, there you go. It's just.
And they pick up the information in different ways and then put it together, and sometimes they get a hit like this, and then sometimes it just doesn't make sense. So the next one then is paying for things online. So paying by credit card rather than a debit card. So I'm not suggesting anyone that has not got a credit card takes one out. But if you have a credit card and you have a debit card, if you're paying for an item that's over £100, you're more secure by using your credit card to pay for that. The reason for that is you've got the same rights to pursue your credit card provider as you do for the retailer. So if you have gone to a company that's less than reputable and they're not giving you your money back, or they're not giving you a refund, because you've paid for that with a credit card, you can get that full amount back from the credit card provider, and then the credit card provider will then themselves go and pursue the retailer for that money. And obviously they've got more clout when it comes to chasing retailers for money than individuals do. But I have to say as well, I said it there, and it's not suggesting that anyone takes out a credit card, it's just if you have a credit card and a debit card, your credit card gives you more protection. You have to watch out for credit card fees at times as well. It's getting less and less. So if anyone calls claiming to be from your bank, intruder, never give your personal or password details. Your mother's maiden name, place of birth, etc. You might think even just a little bit of information is not going to be able to do anything, but that could be the last bit of information that they need for you. Say you'll call them back, and then if you do have another number, if you've got if they phoned you on the house phone and you've got a mobile, use your mobile and find the number for your bank yourself, don't phone them back on that number. The reason that we suggest using another number, another phone to phone them back, is because if they've phoned your house phone, what they tend to do is they can stay on the line. So then when you pick up the phone to phone your bank, you're dialing a number, which it's not going to work if the line's still live, and then you're still speaking to that scammer again when you use that phone.
I'm rather deaf, so it works quite well. I start saying, what? By the time I've gone through the 6 calls, the phone's gone down. But they're not, the phone goes down.
That's it.
I think that stupid old woman there, I didn't mean to do her.
So the majority of high street banks are now signed up for a Stop Scams helpline, and the helpline number is 159. And if you receive a call that you're suspicious about from your bank, you can call 159, and then you can discuss it with them, and they'll be able to tell you if it's a genuine call that you received.
So that would just be 159.
159. That's all you need to
Nothing
call.
else.
Yeah. And the majority of high street banks are.
I got it. Can you write that down?
I'll give you that.
Give me
Yeah.
that. That's right.
And you can, they'll be able to tell you if it was a genuine call or not. They'll connect you securely with your bank, and then they'll have a record of that to tell you. And if you're not sure, you can always phone the bureau as well. So I've got my prop. This is shredded paper, and I've taken this from the bureau, and one of the things that is really valuable is being able to shred your personal documents that you're not going to keep. So not just that though, but your envelopes too. So if you have an envelope that says Bank of Scotland on it, then they know that you at that address have a connection with Bank of Scotland. And when they phone, they won't just say I'm calling from your bank, they'll say I'm calling from Bank of Scotland. So envelopes as well. Anyone that contacts you from a utility provider or from a bank and says, "Dear sir or madam, dear customer," if they're asking you to do anything, ignore it. Dear sir or madam, dear customer should just be information on there about your account. It should be directed towards you with your name, and often what banks are doing now is they're giving you information about your account in a small snippet that allows you to know that it's a genuine request. But it should be you that's named on the letter. If you see dear sir or madam, dear customer, you should deal with that handle that with suspicion. So in terms of thinking about communications that you get, so don't be forced to make a decision on the spot. So that's what they'll do. They'll either rush you or hush you. Always check their credentials. So someone that turns up at the door, if they can't tell you who they are, if they can't show you ID, don't trust them. Ask someone you trust for a second opinion before making any decisions. Your personal information is your own. Guard it. You might just think that it's a little bit of information, but as I said, it could be the last piece in a puzzle for the scammer. and share your experience with others, share it with your friends and family, share it with etc. as well. The more people that know about scams, the harder it makes them for scammers. So don't be rushed and don't be hushed. So think about those. If you're ever unsure, if you get a phone call through, you're ever unsure, if you're being rushed, or if you're being rushed, if you're being told not to tell anyone, just to yourself, just should be alarm bells ringing there. Okay. So you have unfortunately been targeted by a scammer. What do you do now? So first thing is stop. So stop all communication with the scammer. If you have suspicions that they're taking a payment from the bank, stop the payments. Call your bank and stop any payments that are due or that are going to do that as soon as. And stop the scammer by reporting it. I think I've got details here. So you can report it in Scotland, you can report it through Advice Bureau East Scotland. You can also report scams to Police Scotland, or you can speak to us. If we get a report of a scam, we have a system in place for that. They rely, as I said earlier, on you staying quiet. It's nothing to be embarrassed about. They use sophisticated ways to get in touch, to be successful with their scams. You've seen how plausible it can be. And the more people that know about the scams, the more difficult it is for them. You can speak to us here at you can speak to us there at the Bureau, and yes, you can use that 159 number as well if it's to do with your bank. So yeah. What I would say is one of the things that's not on this presentation, but we are seeing it's starting to happen now, is scams because of the cost of living. So the government has thankfully put in place a lot of financial support available for people to help with the increased cost of living. And scammers have then looked at that and gone, right, well, how can we scam people out of money, or how can we pretend to be something that we're not with the support that's available. And if you've got any questions at all about the cost of living payments that are available to you, that's why we would say to speak to an advisor. Looking to apply for anything for the cost of living payments, an advisor can help you with the entire process for that. And a lot of the payments, thankfully, will be automatic. So anything that you do want to apply for, you have the help of an advisor. It's a genuine financial support. Yes, I hope that was helpful.